And they did me bloods there. And Doctor goes, well, yeah. I said, anything wrong? He goes, well, no, bloods are fine. He goes, apart from your cholesterol, it's really high. He says, we like it to be. I says, I'll tell you what. I says, I like it to be where my body says it wants it to be. That's it.
Mark, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, since our last chat, I'll just reiterate. It was through a long period of illness. I was getting brain fog. I had the long COVID. Um, it was quite horrendous because I was getting a lot of cognitive problems, and I'm thinking, oh no, I don't fancy going down that route. Um, and then I went for a checkup, and doctor saying, "Oh, you got your high A1C. You know, all your markers are going wrong." It's funny to look back and see how it was and how it is now. Um, so the doctor said, "Oh, you got to take statins. You got to, the usual blurb." And I said, "No, I'm not doing it." I said, "I'm going to go on a high fat, medium protein diet." And they're like, of course, they go, "No, no, no, we don't recommend that at all because your cholesterol's going to be all right." Fair enough. So true enough, after a month or two, I went back and he said, "Oh, your cholesterol's gone up." I'm like, yeah. Um, and but your A1C has dropped. Like, yeah, yeah. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. Well, we need to recheck your cholesterol and put you on statins. I'm like, no, no. As far as I'm concerned, you can use them as suppositories. There's no way am I going on statins. And this like they do the usual stuff, and they give me the healthy plate thing. And the diabetic food pyramid or whatever it was. Like, I said to him, like, as Bart Kay does, says, well, the definition of diabetes, being pre-diabetic, is actually high blood sugar. And the best way to raise your blood sugar is eat carbohydrates. Because obviously, the chain of carbohydrates, the long chain carb, no, they get broken down by the body into single simple sugars and glucose. So they wouldn't have it, but she goes, "We want to test it again." I said, "No." I said, "I'll tell you what, come back after 3 months." Went back, right? There's nothing wrong with your A1C. Your kidneys are fine. Blood pressure. Ooh, I said, "Look, I get white coat syndrome. I test it at home. It's fine." So I'll give them all the photographs of the blood pressure. Like, oh, all right then. But your cholesterol, it's just gone right up. Like, yeah, it's good, isn't it? No, no, you're going to die. I said, right, okay, we're all going to die. Nobody gets out alive. So let's go. I feel great. And if I die feeling great, spot on. No worries. That's it. At least my last few years or few minutes have been good. I said, but you do know that high cholesterol isn't a disease. I says, it can be symptomatic of something further up the line, but it's not a disease. It's not harmful. They said, but it's going to get wedged in your arteries and do. I thought, do I ask them to explain the mechanism? No, no. I said, all right, fair enough. So they prescribe you blood pressure tablets and this and that, which I never took anyway. And then when I went back to the doctor went, "Wow, what are you doing?" I'm like, "You tell me." You know, us being we're not a we're not using calories, are we? We're not an enclosed bomb calorimeter, so therefore we're open to the elements, exotherms, and that. I says we're chemical process, electric chemicals, electrons, break it down. I says most of it, the fat you piss out anyway in the morning, or it gets broken down in your sleep. How can you go to bed at 10 stone and wake up at 9 stone 6 or whatever? That's how it works. I says it's your insulin and the sugar that's causing him the high blood pressure and everything else. So also, can I just mention, Dave? My son looked at the last interview and he was agog, and he said, "I'd really like to say thank you to all the people that left such nice comments about you, Dad." So there you go. I'm passing it on. And maybe if you want to do this again next year, I'll get him to come in and tell you about
Oh, that'd
his.
be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be 12 next year.
Yeah, you said last time that he was kind of he was kind of eating more this way, right?
Yeah, definitely. And if if he wants, like, if we be, because he comes training with me now, I mean, just once, twice a week. And if he gets hungry, he'll go, oh, and he'll go on about burgers and that. So, but he'll go for a burger. He won't have any fries. He won't have the bun. So he'll have a couple of sort of like triple cheeseburgers. That's it. That's all good. He's, yeah, fantastic. And obviously, he can see the difference in me. He's turned into a bit of a, switch monster, but kids do, don't they? But yeah, he was training with me yesterday. I'm not saying he's overly enthusiastic all the time, but once he's there, he's there. He's doing it. That's all you can ask, isn't it? It's encouraged setting down the stones so he can build that proper pyramid.
So you had those kind of standoffs with your doctor
Yeah.
about the cholesterol and all that kind of thing. Have you been back to see
Oh
your
yeah.
doctor recently?
Yeah. Well, I first went back in July because if you remember last time, I had this problem with my elbow, and they said, "Oh, we're going to do an operation on it, an OK operation and stuff like that." And I said, "What's this involve?" And he said, "Oh, we cut your tricep, peel it back, drill a big hole in the back of your elbow there, and then scoop out the bits of bone and whatever in there like that." And it seemed okay to me, but and then I went for this the first time in the year, and then I went back, and he goes, "Right, okay then, we can put you in for this operation." I said, He goes, and he's pressing like this. He goes, "Where's it hurt?" I says, "It don't hurt." He goes, "What do you mean?" Because I had arthritis in my knees, my elbow, and all that. And he's sort of like, "What do you mean?" I says, "Since I changed my diet, it's the pain's gone, subsided. I haven't got any pain. I can move, and before I couldn't even lift my arm up like that." And he's sort of like, "Wow." He goes, "It must be ketones or something." It's because you lost weight in it. I said, "No, I know it's probably, yeah, maybe ketones." He goes, "My wife's interested in this." I said, "Well, you'll be interested that the guy who wrote the Carnivore book, can't, is actually an orthopedic surgeon, and he noticed this, and he noticed that people are getting better by not eating carbohydrates." And I told him about the time I had one of Diane's coffees, and it made my elbow really painful for about a couple of hours later. And he's sort of like, hmm. And then his nurse is going, "Oh, I'm really interested in this. Yeah, I'd like to do this." And I say, "My snoring's near enough gone." I says, "I'm no longer using my CPAP machine." She goes, "Oh, my husband can do that." I says, "Yeah." I says, All I do is, cut out carbs, and I don't drink alcohol." And they're like, "You what?" She's going, "I couldn't do that. I like me wine." Uh, well, it depends, what, like you say, nothing feels or nothing tastes as good as Carnivore feels, and it's true. Yeah, I'll never go back to eating the way I was before. I mean, I'll cook a steak and some eggs, and maybe use yeah, a couple of spices, maybe a bit of pepper, a bit of garlic. That's about it. Nothing else. I just don't. I don't. Nothing appeals to me like that anymore. I could walk straight through the middle aisles and that, like, happy poisoning month this year. It's nothing that really tempts me into doing it. And so with the doctors, he was impressed. And then I had a funny turn about a month or two ago, but I think I had a virus. I ended up going to A&E. The doctor sent me to A&E because he thought I might have had a stroke or something like that, because I couldn't walk. I was falling over all over the place, back, neck, and pains, and I sat in A&E for 9.5 hours. Ended up having an MRI scan, and the doctor's gone, and they did me bloods there, and the doctor's gone, "Well, yeah." I said, "Anything wrong?" He goes, "Well, no, bloods are fine." He goes, "Apart from your cholesterol, it's really high." He says, "We like it to be." I says, "I'll tell you what." I says, "I like it to be where my body says it wants it to be. That's it." I says, "And do you know if you've got an infection in that?" Because I think, because he couldn't pinpoint what was wrong with it. I said, "I think I've had some sort of viral infection, and your cholesterol does go up because the LDL takes all the goody bits to where the infection is and to try to combat it." I said, "So," and he went, "Oh, I never thought about that." So, yeah, he was sort of like, high cholesterol. I said, "Is that it?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Good, that's fine." He goes, Um, and to this day, I don't know what was up with me. I think it was a virus I had, but
And you've had nothing else?
no,
No recurrence of it?
no, no, not at all. I'm off work still till January because I'm an electrician, and if I'm working with like the mains and stuff like that, I'm not. I said, look, I don't trust myself working on this live mains and solar and stuff like that because I could either kill myself or somebody else. So that's a no go. So I want to fully recover. I've had this poxy cold flu thing, but everybody's got that. I mean, I'm like folks say, oh yeah, it's because you're not eating fruit and veg and stuff. Look, I'm I'm a carnivore. I'm not fucking Wolverine. You know, it's always the same, isn't it? Oh, you got to eat your fruit and veg. Yeah, all right.
So how's the scurvy going? You must
Yeah,
have got scurvy,
I
no?
know, I know. I died after 6 weeks, and again, like I said, I've not had a crap in about 2.5 years. It's terrible. I was googling this morning. I thought, oh, here we go. About carnivore. It's the worst diet in the world. You'll get constipation. You'll die. Really? And when I said to the consultant, I suggest that he does his CPD, and it's like, so look, I know you're only doing and saying what you've been taught in the university, and I said, but it's out of date. I said things progress, things move on. Just have a look. But obviously he's in A&E and busy, and he's not going to. He's probably just overworked to even care about it. He just needs to do what he does, in and out like a conveyor belt, really, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Um, so have you modified anything as far as eating patterns or anything like that in the since we spoke last?
I've I've started eating maybe twice a day. It depends on my energy output. I will eat once a day, but maybe twice a day. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I'll get the tummy twang if I'm getting a bit hungry. Maybe have a drink, and that's it. Apart from that, I'm cutting down on cream because I think I got a bit addicted to cream because I was having the like bulletproof coffees, the butter and the cream, and I was getting through like half a pound of butter a day or something, 250 grams a day, and I, th- I think that was, and I started having a few fluctuations in me A1C on me finger prick test. So I've cut that right down, and now wake up this morning, do my finger prick test. It's 4.2, which is nice fasted. That's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I feel better. So yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the dairy thing for me. But that's about it. Eggs, steak, not so much cheese. I'm cutting dairy out, but which is a pity because it's nice, isn't it? Everything tastes better with cheese, but there you go. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and what are you cooking? Do you cook in butter or are you using tallow or
I,
something?
I use a combination of whatever. It depends on what I'm cooking, but normally, I mean, last night I cooked a steak and eggs, and I use little bit of butter, and then the rest, because I render the bones down myself to make get the tallow, and I cook in that as well. So yeah, that's well, obviously we don't use oils. I've got a few people now following this diet, and I was talking to a mate Pete this morning. He's in. I just made a little note here. He's lost 49 pounds in less than 4 months. He's gone from a 50-inch waist to a 38, and four XL tops to one XL in under 4 months. Absolutely fantastic.
And that's just he saw your results, he talked to you about it, and he's given it a try.
Yeah, he started the intermittent fasting first, and then he's messaged me saying, "Mark, I want some advice on diet and stuff like that. Can you help me out?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll come round and we'll have a chat." And he's been asking me, and because he's one of the love. What really kicked him into touch was his girlfriend dumped him after 6 years, basically saying, "Oh, you're fat and you got." Yeah, and he's one of the loveliest blokes in the world. Really but he is like a gorilla. He's like a proper. Well, he was. His stomach was huge, and he's built ex minor, so he's got that ex minor attitude. He's there, I'll eat it, and he used to love his bread and his potatoes and stuff like that. But now he knows exactly what he's doing. He's even bought himself a treadmill, and he does his treadmill, and he's helped his mental health because he was really insecure, and now he's going out, meeting people, going for walks and stuff like that. So, and he's feeling a hell of a lot better. So I'm proud of the guy. I mean, he's 60, 66, I think 67, but you know, it shows it's not too late, never too late.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's never too late, you
No,
know? You know, when you think, "Oh, the wheels are just falling off, it's just a downward slide now," you know? It's not. You can stop the rot anytime, right?
yeah, 100%. And as I'm getting a bit older now, I'm putting the gas on a bit now and going uphill a bit faster. So I'm not going downhill ever again. Never. No way.
And so, you know, we talked last time about, how you had when you were starting this, you kinda had, like, the fatty tongue
Yeah,
and that kind of thing, and so that would affect your sleep,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Because I had the CPAP machine.
So right, and so how is your sleep now? Are you getting, like, a full night's rest and everything's good?
I get by on between 6 to 7 hours. That's fine. Um, and I don't use a CPAP machine. In fact, I tried using it because I got this cold and whatever. And I thought, oh, I don't want to die in my sleep. I'll try it. And it made it worse. It was awful. Absolutely awful. Because I've got this app on my phone and it records your snoring. And say it went from like a 20 up to like 110. I'm like, that's not good. Without it, sleep better. So no, don't need it, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And that improves sleep. I mean, that obviously helps with things like just going about your day, but
Oh
also,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
recovery in the gym and stuff, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't train that much. I train maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times at the outside. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. That's the thing is, again, like Dr. Chafee says, you don't get the aches and pains and the tiredness. You go in, you can go balls out, and then next day, right, I train with my mate. I did, and he's 63, I think, 62, 63. And he eats a fairly good diet, but he loves his alcohol as well, and he'll eat other things. And I'll train, and then next few days, he goes, "I've got DOMS, I'm aching all over." Like, oh, I'm good to go. It's no problem. It just goes, even that little
Uh,
change can help.
mm, yeah. It's just the thing that always strikes me is how well your body works when you just stop poisoning it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like people ask me, "What can I take to do this?" I says, lose weight, do what? I says, stop thinking about taking stuff and start thinking about removing stuff. Think about what you're eating. And like, it's like a guy at the gym. Yeah, one of the gyms I go to. He's sort of like, "Oh, I've got this pain in my shoulder and this, that, and the other." I'm like, all right, yeah. So, well, he's arthritis, doctor says. And like, okay, so have you tried cutting out processed foods and sugars and stuff like that? He goes, yeah. He goes, I have my porridge in the morning with my fruit on it. And I says, look, fruit's not good. It's all fructose and it's bad for you. You get because he's got this belly, little belly, the pot belly. And I'm saying, well, that's what's give you a fatty liver. And he's sort of like, because I've been known to be a little bit blunt in my time, but say it as it is. And he said, oh no, 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 it's natural sugar. It's okay. I said, right, okay. There's this assumption, thesis, or whatever that you eat the fruit. It's sort of like got soluble fibre in it and insoluble fibre, and it acts like a mesh or a lining on your gut, so you can't absorb the carbohydrates. Here's a funny thing: why not just don't eat the bloody stuff? It's a lot better because you're not getting any of it, are you?
Exactly. It's like, when someone goes to the doctor for diabetes and they're like, "Oh, just continue eating the way you wanna eat, and we'll just give you some insulin, and that's gonna balance everything
Yeah,
out." And it's like, I could do that, or I could just stop having the sugar in the first place, and we're probably gonna be okay.
yeah. And again, I've not had any alcohol since I started. It just, and that wasn't one of my attentions. You went, bang, I'm like, I don't want any. I just that doesn't appeal to me whatsoever, which is crazy.
So, this is an interesting point, right? So, were you a big drinker before or just social?
I did used to have a few beers or a bottle of wine or a whiskey after work because you're out working hard and you think, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that, and it does become a habit.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, and I did give up drinking in the '80s for about a year or so, and that's when I went out with my brother and we went out to a bank do or something, and his wife picked us up late at night, and he was absolutely slaughtered on the floor, hammered. And she looked at me, she said, "Oh, you not been drinking?" I said, "Yeah, I've had the same as him." But that particular night, it didn't touch me at all. I think all my organs had recovered that much that it sort of like didn't affect me. But then, obviously, that's when I went back into it again. So,
'Cause then you think, "Oh, well, I'm invincible now.
yeah,
I can do
yeah.
this every day."
Wolverine can do it. I can do it.
So, I feel like with relation to alcohol, even more than with carbohydrate, with sugars and processed food, like, with alcohol, going carnivore gives you so much self-control, like, it breaks that emotional connection even quicker than it does with the food.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like I say, it was something that I wasn't even thinking about. I had beers in the fridge. I had bottles of spirits and that. And like, I come home from work. One day I come home from work. I went, oh yeah, let's have a. I don't like it. I like that, and that's the only thing I changed my diet. I'm like, this is really odd. So I gave away all the alcohol, and neighbours were happy anyway. But yeah, it's I'll never do that because people say, "Oh, you having a drink at Christmas?" Like, no. Why should I? I remember when I used to work in prison, there was a girl there, and she was sort of like always coming in a bit rough. And she's, oh, I had a litre and a half of Bailey's last night. I like, you are? Yeah. I says, do you know how much calories are in there? I says, you've just drunk like 15 donuts, basically, all the sugar. And she, did I not tell you this? She kept asking me for advice about diet. And she's stuffing donuts down and muffins and stuff like that. And she kept going on and on. She can come to the gym with me a couple of times, and she thinks she can outrun her diet. And I'm saying, look, really, she wasn't listening. And then I walked in, and there was this massive chocolate donut. I know this ain't very PC. Sat chocolate muffin. That's it. Sat there, and she's like, "Oh, look at him looking at me muffin." I says, "Tell you what," I says, "take that muffin, put it on your chair, and sit on it because it's going to end up on your ass anyway." And she never got on with me after that, but she haven't looked. How else can you say it? Really, let's say it as is.
Mm, right.
And like when people say I want to lose weight, we go through the no, you don't. You want to lose fat, basically. And yeah,
I do like the thing about drinking 15 donuts, though. I think that's a good way
yeah.
of looking at it.
Well, that's just, I like the David Unwin, the infographics. You seen them with the teaspoons of sugar, and I often send them to people saying, "Look, you don't realise how much sugar you're eating because it is sugar and it will spike your glucose. And all the while, listen to the trainers at the gym. Oh my god! Oh well, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to increase your cardio and and I says just stop eating carbs and you won't need to do any cardio at all. And like people are saying, oh, I want to do this, but I've got to exercise. Oh, no, you don't. You don't at all. You no need to exercise. There will be a point when you're feeling better about yourself that you'll have that so much energy. It's like when you take your dog out for a walk, you've gone, wow, and that's how you'll feel. And that's when you want to start exercise. You don't force yourself into doing it. But people think they can count the heat units, don't they? And that's the problem. And it's people are brainwashed into it. So it's going to take years, but
Yeah.
my goodness, how fast is this growing? And now it's like people are
Well,
waking up and going, wow,
so this is an interesting point. So it's been about I guess about a year since we spoke last.
yeah,
What is your feeling around carnivore, just when you see things day to day? Are you finding that more and more people are willing to give it a try? And is it becoming more
yes,
kind of mainstream?
yes, definitely. I got a guy that comes to see me from other gyms, and he's going, "Oh, I'm doing carnivore now." I'm like, great, good on you. And there's a lot of people I know are doing it. There's another kid here, right? He's younger than me. He looks like my granddad, and he's telling me, "Oh, you can't build muscle and train without any carbs. You got, all right, okay then." And then he gets hold of this young kid who wants to compete at the gym, so he's training him and basically starved him into a sticking set. He absolutely starved. I'm like, and the kid was because he saw me and he saw me abs and all that. And, oh, I like that. I'm like, yeah, it's because I don't eat carbs. And that. Like, well, you can't. No, 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 no. And then I said, well, a pack of wolves, do they stop off for a Mars bar on the way when it's like, we're a bit carb depleted now. Let's stop and eat something and then we'll chase it. No, I said, your body produces all the carbs you need anyway. But yeah, it's not easy trying to convince the guys with a mindset of, especially like Jonathan Griffith. He knows that people will say to you, you can't build muscle without carbs. In fact, I'm going to pop down and see him in the new year, and we're going to have a session together. So he lives down at Bournemouth, and yeah, he's a nice kid, and I might have a chance now. He's on his back operation, but he's obviously he's got I've got 30 odd years on him. But it's just nice. The thing is, in this community, I mean, you do get the naysayers, and you do get the people, the carb police, the carnivore police, and like, oh, you got to do that. You're not carnivore. You're not. I said, just shut up. Eat what you want. If you feel good, it's better than the standard of diet, isn't it? Just all right. If somebody wants to eat an avocado, great. What's it got to do with you? What they eat? As long as they're doing what they want and they feel good, leave them to it. As far as I know, and there's that carnivore. I think it was on your thing, the hierarchy of carnivore. It's like keto, ketovore, like animal based
Uh,
carnivore. And I'm thinking,
Right.
well, no, you can't really label things like that at all. You know, because if I fancy something to eat, then I think if I have a pickled onion, that's not as bad as a donut. It does. I'm sure my body can cope with that. So it's your own
Yeah.
tolerances. I know I can't really cope with the dairy. It's a no-no for me.
Yeah. You're not carnivore, you
Well,
know?
what's the definition of carnivore? Is it like 75% animals? I think it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's something like that,
Yeah.
right? It's
So I
something like
mean,
that, yeah.
I can eat 75% of the animals, and I don't like avocados, isn't it? But if I say I had an avocado, then I'm still based within that carnivore.
Yeah, I mean, I kinda look at it in terms of it's a little bit like we're a little bit like dogs, right? We're facultative carnivores, you know?
Mm,
Basically, we're gonna eat the meat if it's available, but, we may also eat other kinds of
yeah,
junk if it's lying around, you know? If there's a potato lying around and we need to eat, we're gonna eat it, you know?
exactly. Yeah. Um, so do you do intermittent fasting at all, or just time
I
restricted?
mean, I'm basically, yeah, I'm just OMAD, so
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah,
much I've tried intermittent fasting, but when I wasn't in the right state of mind when I was trying it, like doing a multiple day fast, so it didn't go very
Yeah,
well.
I think the longest I went was about 5 days, and that weren't intentional. I was poorly, so I went 5 days. But the first 2 days are probably the worst, and then when the ketones and that click in, it's fine, but it's not something I do intentionally. It would I'll eat when I'm hungry, and that's it. When my body says, "Oh, you better eat something," you eat. That's just natural, isn't it?
Honestly, I think that's the best thing about carnivore is just like you don't have that hangry feeling all the time, and it's just like I feel hungry now. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll eat something, and now I'm done.
and it doesn't take that long to cook a steak, does it? I know. I was talking to one guy, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I got to do this." I says, "Hang on." He goes, "I'm a chef, and I can't. I don't know about doing this." I says, "How long does it take to?" I mean, it's quicker to cook a steak than it is to get a bloody ready meal and put that in a microwave. It's like sizzle, 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 sizzle. Thank you very much. Done. I mean, last night before I went to bed, I had steak and eggs, but that was my second meal of the day.
Mm.
I had a bit of chicken and some sausage and bacon, which really don't do a lot for me. It was chicken leg and thigh, but chicken just doesn't do it for me at all anymore. At all. I like I like my steaks.
Yeah, same. It's kind of I kind of think of chicken as the water of meats now.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's kind of just tasteless.
I I don't mind a bit of pork now and again, but I like fatty pork, like belly pork or something like that, or a bit of crackling. Uh, but I cooked my girlfriend who cooked a pork joint, and it just did not do anything for me. I couldn't. I tried a bit. I'm like, no, I don't want any. So she ate most of it, and the rest can't give it to the dog, my son's dog, because it upsets the tummy apparently. It has to have something to do with the fat ingestion and the gallbladder or something like that, because it seems to go through them quite a lot. Pork, but no, I'll and everything. Me taste has changed as well. I'm not using as much salt at all. The salt sort of like everything seems to be tasting saltier and saltier. I'm like, this is odd. And Diane said the same. It's like she doesn't, because we used to, oh yeah, you got to have salt on it, electrolytes and blah blah blah. And
That's
now it's sort of like,
interesting.
yeah, it's like my body said, no, we're fine. Just don't worry about it. Because before you say, right, I'd go and get something. I put loads of salt on it. Oh yeah, that's lovely. But then they say it triggers the same sort of sensory receptors in the brain as
So
sugar, doesn't it?
the Dan's doing carnivore too?
Yeah, yeah. Since I've been doing it 2.5 years, yeah. Near enough 2.5 years, isn't it? September 22. But yeah, yeah, she's been doing that, and now my son's mum, Liz, she's doing well now because I think it's helping her mental state. She's up and down, but
Yeah, so Diane's doing carnivore too?
so yeah, yeah. Diane does carnivore. She'll eat what I eat, but not enough fat really. She'll eat steak, but it's got to be like braising steak, well cooked and moist. Whereas I'll eat it sort of like, well, just show it the flame, and there you go, cut into it. Oh, it's still bleeding, but yeah, it's still pumping out the myoglobin. So yeah, that'll do. As long as it tastes nice.
Yeah, more and more, like when I was younger, I liked my steak like an old boot, you
Yeah,
know. Make sure it's burnt so that there's nothing alive anymore, you know. But now it's like if it looks like a good vet could get it back on its
yeah,
feet, then
yeah.
that's probably good for me
Exactly.
now.
Clear. That's it. Yes,
Right, right. Going forward, it's carnivore all the way for you?
of course. Who's is there? I mean, it's like, remember you mentioned about the bad relationships, and you keep
Mm.
keep going back. And I had a bad relationship or 20, but you just keep a note. how you felt at that particular time, and then you glance at it and go, I'm going back there. No way. And when you think how, again, nothing tastes as good as carnivore feels, it's such a true saying, because it doesn't. Nothing will ever get me to go back and eat that 3D printed crap, like whatever they churn out, like Doritos or whatever. It's not food, is it?
So, Mark, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact, any social media or anything?
If you want to email, then you could email me. But I will be. I know I said this last time. I will be doing YouTube. I've got a YouTube thingy set up.
Um, so I'll link to your email in the show notes. Mark, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience. I really appreciate your time.
Excellent. I look forward to it. But thank you, Dave. It's. I always wake up in the morning, put you on, listen. Sometimes I don't always comment, but I do like. As soon as it comes up,